look so beautiful, and I'm so lucky to be yours.
Hi everyone, and thank you to everyone who submitted questions for this video. And let's help each other out today. If you see a question that is similar to something that you have personally struggled with, and maybe you overcame that struggle and you have some ideas for how to overcome it, please leave those ideas down in the comment section below so we can start a discussion about this and really help each other out. Hello, great job with producing such consistent and relevant videos. 3 questions. Can you tell us if there is a centralized place we can review all your free printables? I think I've made about 25 to 30 free printables for this YouTube channel, so I can understand how it could definitely be overwhelming trying to have to go through all those videos. So at the moment, I don't have a centralized place for all of the free printables, but I was thinking about this, and let me know down in the comments below if you want to see a video like this, but I could kind of provide a quick summary, a few sentences about each of the free printables that I have created, and then put all of the links to those free printables in the description for that video so that if you do want to access one of them, they should all be right there ready to go. Secondly, can you share how you determined what is the best time to sit down and work in your planners? You do the videos, set up multiple planners, create free printables, how to plan your planner time. To decide when I have time to work in my planners, I first had to consider when the fixed scheduled items occur in my week. You know, those non-negotiables like having to go to work Monday through Friday, or church, or dropping your kids off at school. If you print out my time tracker free printable, this may help you. So this is what I did when I was trying to figure out when I have time to plan and do the other activities that I need to get done each week. So first I shaded in things like work and church to build a foundation to work off of. And then I have my routines, and I'll use a different color for that. So my new morning routine is from 6 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. every day. My new after work routine is from approximately 5 to 6:30 or 6 to 7:30 on the days that I work later. And my evening routine is from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. I also have a Sunday evening routine, which is basically when I get ready for my work week. So that includes planning out what I'm going to wear each day for work, meal prepping my breakfasts, lunches, and snacks for the week, etc. Then I'm going to mark off when I want to have lunch and dinner. And then I'm going to dedicate time for home tasks and cleaning and other errands that need to get done. And then start dedicating times to work on this YouTube channel. And then in the remaining gaps is the time that I have for planning. So there's only about 2 hours per week. I also have built into my after work routine where I review the tasks at the end of the day, and I migrate anything that didn't get done that day over to a future day in the week. That does take a little bit of time each day, but it's only a few minutes. In the remaining gaps is the time that I have for planning. There is a gap between my Sunday evening routine and dinner on Sunday evening, so I can do my weekly planning then. And Sunday evenings are the best time for me to plan out my week because I usually have the best idea about what is going to be going on. So for example, if this was before the pandemic and I had a plan to go out to dinner with my friends, then I would usually know by Sunday night what time and day that dinner was going to take place on, and I would be able to write it down in my planner then. I also have a gap between zone cleaning and processing my inbox/home tasks. So this is the time that I will update all of my other planners during. And obviously if I have something like a doctor's appointment, or I'm volunteering, or I'm visiting family members, then I'm not going to be able to follow this exact schedule, I have to shift things around and I have to pull hours from the rest of the week, probably dip into the routines and maybe not get everything done in my routines so that I can accommodate for that. Lastly, can you reference again how you created those printables? So I have a couple of videos that show how to make stickers. I have one on how to make DIY stickers using Microsoft Word, one on making stickers from your drawings using GIMP, and then one on making a time blocking layout using Microsoft Word. And I use these general principles that I cover in those videos to make each of the free printables. So I'm going to link those videos in the description down below for you. This one is from Y Taylor TX Coast. What are your favorite planner hacks? For example, using a gift card or steel ruler to cut washi when scissors are not nearby. Everyone has their own, so it's nice to see what others use. Thanks. Right now, my favorite planner hack is to use whiteout correction tape whenever I have a date or a header or something else on the planner that I want to cover up. And then I want to use like semi-transparent washi or semi-clear sticker over that. The whiteout allows me to do that so that you can't see the date or the header underneath. The next question is from Trish Fish 5, and she asks, out of all the planners out there, how did you decide the Happy Planner was right for you? I have been using the Happy Planner for about 5 years now, and I fell in love with the flexibility that it provides. These rings make all of the difference for me because I get to fully personalize and customize my planner to fit my needs by adding, removing, or moving around sheets in my planner. And I wouldn't be able to do that with a planner that's spiral bound. You can take the sheets out to make decorating or planning easier. You can Franken-plan or create a transformer planner. You can easily add new inserts. You can create dashboards. You can add in pocket pages. You can pull the sheets out and print directly on the calendar pages. You can make an overlay. You can punch holes in an invitation so you can have the address with you and pull it out of the planner when you need to go to that event, etc. If you want a hardbound cover, you can have one. If you want to switch out the plastic rings with sturdier metal rings, you can do that too. And the discs allow you to fold your planner in half. So instead of always having your planner open like this on your desk, if you want to save space, you can have it folded in half. It's also smaller than a lot of ring binder options out there. If I need to take it with me, I can easily slip it into my purse. And it's a lot more affordable than a lot of planners out there on the market right now. And because I'm the type of person who likes to use multiple planners, I can do that because Happy Planners are more affordable. I also love that they come in 3 different sizes. The classic size is perfect for me for my home planner, whereas when I need more space, like for my work planner, I can get the big size Happy Planner. And if you are on the go a lot, probably the mini size would be perfect to just slip into your purse. Also, when it comes to beautiful designs, I feel like the Happy Planner gives you so many different options that I've never had a difficult time finding one that I really wanted. Like, for example, this one I think is just such a gorgeous design. Also, I really like the layout style options that the Happy Planner provides. There are other brands that have really tiny sections for each day, and then they also add in like a goals section and good things that happen section, and I don't necessarily need those sections in my weekly layout. So I like that there's a bunch of blank space that I can work with each week. The next question is from Patricia. Franken planning. I have so many things I need to keep up with: appointments, daily life, work, school, health, finances. Plus, I want to faith plan and keep up with home and car maintenance, etc. In other words, I want to do it all. I realize it has to be done with multiple planners/notebooks. However, I want it on one set of discs. Patricia, I would recommend checking out At Home with Kita's setup for her catch-all planner. She has this beautiful system where she has all of these sections: a calendar section, a home section, budget, family, fitness, faith, school, wellness, personal, business, lists, and inbox. And she has it all on one set of discs. Just in case you haven't seen that video yet, and because I just love Marquita's personality and she just has an amazing channel, I'm gonna leave that link to her video in the description down below for you. Francesca wants to know, hi Lauren, I have been trying to find a good pen or marker to use in my planner. Could you do a video trying out pens? Thank you. Yes, and I will be posting that video probably near the end of this month or the beginning of next month, depending on when the pens that I ordered to try out for that video arrive. Maya said, I'm always learning from your videos. How do you encourage immediate family, extended family, and friends on your approach to planning? My approach to encouraging my immediate family, extended family, and my friends is to attempt to set a good example through regularly planning. I don't want them to think that I'm pushing them into planning, so I don't bring it up unless they are the ones to bring it up. So for example, my current coworkers and also some of my friends from back in grad school, they see me using my planner every single day. And so that kind of just naturally leads to conversations. Like, they'll ask me, why do you use a planner so much? And I'll explain to them that it helps me to clear my mind so I can focus on the task at hand. Or it helps me to save time because I can prioritize what the tasks are that I need to be dedicating my time to and eliminate tasks that are not important. How I can use it as a reference point for information that I may need in the future. How it motivates me to complete tasks, among the many other benefits. And because of these conversations, some of my friends have actually gone out and bought a happy planner because they saw the value in it. When it comes to my immediate family, my mom is actually the person who introduced me to the happy planner, so she definitely sees the value in planning regularly. When it comes to my husband, it was definitely a struggle for me to accept that he plans in a very different way from me. He was initially just using a phone to plan, and now he's using a combination of a phone and a paper planner. But I've learned that as long as he is getting done what needs to be done, that's really all that matters. So I think it's really important just to be patient and recognize that everybody is different. What works for me may not necessarily work for others, and that's totally okay. Princess Peach wants to know how to find planner piece. I use one planner and I feel like I have no room because I like to track a lot of things. I try to use more than one. I feel so overwhelmed. Princess Peach, I'm not sure how big the planner that you're currently using is, but if your planner is maybe like the size of a mini or a classic, you may want to consider getting a larger planner, like a big size happy planner. That's something that I personally did. Last year, I was using a classic size planner for work, and I just kept running out of room. So this year, I'm using the big size. Another idea is to kind of experiment with different layout styles. So for example, maybe the teacher layout will work for you because there are a bunch of sections that you can use for different categories. Or maybe if you're currently using a vertical layout, maybe you want to try out a horizontal layout. A vertical layout only gives you 11.8 square inches per day to write in, but a horizontal layout gives you 12.36 square inches to write in per day. There are also some websites like 101planners.com that have a bunch of free layouts that you can print out and try out, and some of those don't have sidebars, so that kind of gives you more space on each page to write. There are also different Etsy shops that sell different types of layouts, but I would definitely like experiment and try out the layouts before going out and buying a new planner. And if you want to stick to the current planner you're using, another option is to try pages that fold out. Happy asked, I would love to know what the pros and cons of taking the time to plan are versus just doing. What are the benefits we get when we sit down and think or plan and craft out our next plans and next actions? There are definitely a lot of benefits to planning. So for example, if you're the type of person who has a lot of thoughts spinning around in your head, it can be really helpful to get those thoughts out onto paper because it'll clear your mind so that you can focus. It also allows you to maximize your efficiency through prioritization of your tasks so that you can start by completing the tasks that are of the highest priority and then work your way down to the lower priority tasks. And some of the tasks that are not even important, which you can identify through the planning process, can be completely eliminated from your schedule. So that is going to save you a lot of time. So for example, if I hadn't planned out my day-to-day, I would be in my guest room right now painting the walls because that's something that I've been wanting to do. But that's not the highest priority for me today because then this video wouldn't get filmed, this video wouldn't get edited, I wouldn't have any time to clean the house, dinner wouldn't be made, there'd just be so many things that wouldn't get done because I wasn't working on the highest priorities. Planning also helps me to achieve my goals by breaking them down into small, manageable tasks and setting deadlines for those tasks. It also helps out with fleshing out the details of complicated projects because a lot of times things need to happen in a certain sequence, and for me at least, if I don't write that sequence down, I'm going to forget. So let's say, for example, that you're working on a home organization project and you need to buy certain supplies, but you don't plan it out. And you get to the store and you get back home and you realize, I forgot to buy a lot of things. I am not prepared. But if you plan everything out and you take that list to the store, because you know exactly what steps are involved in that home organization project, then you're going to save yourself time because you're only going to have to go to the store once. So those are just some examples of the pros, and I go into further detail about this in my benefits of planning video, which I'll link in the description down below for you. If we start our month, week, day by not really planning, is there a difference? Would we be better off doing or not doing, or sometimes planning? Because each of us is different, I think it's up to the individual to kind of try out, experiment with how to best balance planning with doing. One thing that has helped me is in that example that I showed earlier, using my time tracker, where I kind of map out my entire week and then I look for the gaps in time that I have. And that kind of tells me when I should be planning and if it's realistic to spend more time planning. And when you can visually see where your time is going, it can really help you to determine if you're spending your time the way that you want to spend your time. I also think it's important to keep in mind what the point of planning is. And to me, that is to efficiently complete tasks, to be more productive. But if those tasks are not completed because we're spending too much time planning them, what was the point of planning in the first place? I know that I sometimes get carried away with over planning, and that can sometimes transform into procrastination. So for example, maybe I'm creating a cleaning schedule for myself, but then I don't actually do the cleaning. But if I'm not doing the cleaning, then that kind of defeats the purpose of the schedule, right? In the book Art and Fear by David Bales and Ted Orland, there is this ceramics teacher who divides the class into two groups. One group's grades will be determined on the quality of their pottery. They're supposed to produce one pot by the end of the class. The other group's grades is dependent upon their quantity. They have to produce 50 pounds of pottery. And what was really interesting about this is that by the end of the class, those that scored the highest on quality of their pottery were not those in the quality group. It was actually those in the quantity group. Why is that? It's because while the quality group planned and strategized and obsessed over creating this perfect piece of pottery, the quantity group was out there practicing and creating and making mistakes over and over and over again. And through that repeated practice, they were able to learn through trial and error, getting better and better as they went, ultimately being able to create this quality piece of work. So clearly this emphasizes how important it is to just get started with something. But one of my takeaways from this is that there's definitely a limit you can reach where you are over planning and you can be wasting time. Like if you're planning out in more detail than you actually need to. And it also depends on what you are planning. So for example, if you are doing the same thing week to week and have what you need to do memorized because it's part of your routine, then it may not make sense to write every part of your routine down in your planner. But I do really think that it's important to write things down in your planner that you are going to forget unless they're in your planner. So for example, I need to clean my hamster's cage this weekend. And I would definitely forget to do that if it wasn't written down in my planner. I always wondered about taking the time to relax first and plan/craft if there were any health benefits. I'm always doing, but thinking about sitting and planning. I'm not consistent or as organized as I'd like to be with my planning, yet I have supplies. How do we become disciplined? Are there benefits? Yes, planning can definitely have health benefits, especially when it comes to reducing stress. In a 2011 survey, Dr. Robert Epstein collected data from more than 3,000 participants and found that the most effective stress management technique was fighting stress before it even starts. Planning things rather than letting them happen. That means planning your day, your year, and your life so that stress is minimized. And then when it comes to becoming disciplined, it takes turning planning into a habit so you don't even think about having to do it. It just comes naturally to you. And I have a video called How to Turn Planning and Routines into Habits, and I'll link that video in the description for you. Planning, to me, is the guide map that helps us to best navigate to get to where we want to go as quickly as possible and prevents us from straying off course. And to me, doing is actually setting out on that journey. And without setting out on that journey, then there's really no reason for the guide map. So I think that allocating a little bit of time to planning per week is a really beneficial practice. But for me, my emphasis is always on doing. Donna asked, I would love to know how you study the Bible, and do you and your husband have a Bible study and devotional time together? My quiet time is scheduled into my morning routine. It starts with prayer, then I read the Bible, and I read for as long as I feel called to read. I'm not following a specific schedule. And I write down the key points from those verses. And then I reflect on the verses and I record my insights in my faith planner. After that, I come up with a relevant question to ask myself, or I think about how I can put what I learned into action in my daily life. So it's very similar to the SOAP method. And then I close in prayer. Right now, about once to twice a week, my husband and I are reading devotionals from the First 5 app. We read the verse and we pray together. I've also been listening to Saddleback's online services for about 11 years now. And right now they are covering the book of James and how it can help us with dealing with life's struggle. So If any of you need a little bit of hope and encouragement, I'm going to leave the link to that series in the description. Monica said, "Good day. I love your thought process and all your ideas. I love spending a day going over all your videos for ideas and functional and creativity. I'm a fairly newbie. I fill a planner with my pages, then create another and another, etc. What is the best way to organize my many planners to remember what's in each one so I can be more organized?" In order to remember what I keep in each of my planners, I create an index, also referring to it as a table of contents. So for example, it tells me that the long-term collection section in my home planner has my book tracker, my gift ideas insert, my planner supplies inventory, etc. Another thing that I've done is created a general schedule of when I'm going to be using each planner and when to update the planners so that each part of the planner is used regularly. So for example, on the first Sunday of the month, I update the monthly section of my social media planner. But let's say, for example, that there are certain inserts in your planner that you want to remember to use. So for example, I have this insert that lists out different things that I can do when I'm stressed out. And maybe I want to remind myself to reference this insert once a week. So I could include that in my schedule to make sure to read over that insert in my planner. Maybe I want to remind myself to check my zone cleaning schedule on Sunday nights as I'm planning out the following week. In my schedule, under every Sunday, I can write down check zone cleaning schedule in home management notebook. So I'm saying what the insert is that I want to look at and which planner it's in. By creating a schedule and allocating each part of your planners that you do want to be looking at, you can make sure that you are getting the most use out of your planners. Me asked, "How are you feeling about where you are in life?" I wouldn't say that I'm fully satisfied with where I am in life right now, but I think that's also because I have so much that I want to achieve. I think it's important for me to recognize that it does take time to achieve those goals and I need to be a little bit more patient with myself. What do you like to do in your spare time? If I had more spare time, I would love to do more outdoor activities like hiking and kayaking or zip lining. I just love being out in nature. Who motivates you every morning to get up and start your day? What motivates me is knowing that God made each of us with a purpose. Also, my husband is a huge motivator for me. He really is who keeps me going every single day. Were you scared/nervous when you uploaded your first YouTube video? I was terrified to upload my first YouTube video. I thought one of two things would happen. Either nobody would watch any of the videos or someone would watch it and they would just hate it. What is one piece of advice you would give your viewers about anything? Something that has really helped me out is to find something like maybe a hobby that you really enjoy doing. Something that strengthens and rejuvenates you. That when you're working on it, time just flies by. And then try to dedicate a little bit of time to it, working on that hobby or whatever activity that is each week. For my husband, that's either playing the guitar or gardening. And for myself, it's doing crafts. How do you come up with the new video plans? A lot of it is inspired by the organization obstacles that I have in my life or in my home. So for example, that inbox video about conquering paper clutter, that was because I was so sick of seeing paper all around my house that I needed to come up with a system for handling it. And then I usually like to create a video to share with you what the system is that I'm using, so hopefully it could help you come up with ideas for a system to use yourself. And then also my emergency preparedness insert was because a few weeks before that there had been a few earthquakes in my area and I had realized that I was not prepared at all for a natural disaster. So I created that video as I was setting up my home to be prepared, and I was hoping that it would help give others ideas on how they could be prepared for emergencies also. It also really helps me to come up with ideas by regularly reading self-help books. So for example, when I read David Allen's book, Getting Things Done, that completely changed my approach to planning. What would you recommend to people who want to start their own YouTube channel? I would recommend to make sure that you are fully committed to it, because at least for myself, I was not aware of how much time it takes every week to especially edit the videos. It takes a lot more time than I realized. So before you jump all in, just make sure that you do have the time to dedicate to a channel. Kimber asked, have any of your vision boards over the years come to fruition? In 2019, I had a vision board, a goals page at the beginning of my planner. And the problem was that because it was the first page of the planner, I never looked at it because I never really go to the front of my planner. So even though I made a little bit of progress on those, I didn't actually achieve all of those goals. However, in 2017, I was able to achieve everything on my vision board that year. I was able to graduate from grad school, I got a new job, I bought a house, and I was able to lose all the weight that year that I had wanted to lose. And the reason why it worked, I think, is because it was an overlay on my monthly spread, which I would look at regularly as opposed to the first page of my planner. And this year I have a cleaning vision board in my home management notebook. And so far, I've been taking a look at it every time I need some motivation to clean, and that has been working for me this year. I would love if you could comment down below if you have some ideas or solutions for some of the questions that were brought up in this video, and I'll see you next Saturday. Bye!